G'day there, everyone. Welcome to the Marketing Funnels and Strategy Show for today. Super excited for today's episode. How you doing today, Serena?
I'm getting there for a Monday. You know what it's like. It's Monday. It's like everything's all coming at you in 100 different pieces, and Friday you're trying to finish every single 100 different pieces before the weekend.
What do you mean finish pieces? We never finish.
It'd be good one day to try one of these on a Wednesday. And how you feeling? Oh yeah, pretty cruisy, thanks.
Yeah, hump day. Maybe we should do a hump day show, maybe as well.
Oh, it's probably a bit almost like hound dog. Not hound dog. What are you? You're saying hump day. I'm saying Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day.
Groundhog Day. Okay, yeah, we could call it Groundhog Day. Maybe we'll run a Wednesday one in the future. All right, guys. Today, what we're talking about, we're going to be talking about how to get quick wins from your marketing. And the reason why we're going to talk about this one today is we've spoken about many different things to do with marketing, and it's kind of hard to get quick wins these days. As I said, no fluff. There's no sort of holding back with things. Marketing is not easy, right? It is tough, and it can be tough. And the hardest thing for a business owner these days is to acquire a new customer. The second hardest is to be able to keep it. So today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be talking specifically about how to get quick wins, because if your business is, say, for example, halfway through the month and you're not on target, what can you do to be able to get back on target? But secondly, if you maybe you've had some cancellations, you've had some people that, may have booked appointments with you, may have got started with you and decided to, stop for some reason or cancel or have to put it off. How are you going to be able to get some quick wins in your business to be able to fill those spots or bring you back on target? What can you do? How can you switch your focus to be able to get those results back? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're talking about quick win marketing and how you can go about doing it. Serena, I know a lot of the time when this happens for businesses, it's like, how can I fill that spot? I mean, a lot of businesses, they just have a tendency to just leave that spot and just do their best to try and fill it, right? I can't hear you for some reason, so I'm just going to talk.
Oh, sorry.
But I heard you.
I was muted. My fault. I always mute when I go to open the Facebook group, so you don't hear it talk straight away. So, okay. And I forgot to go and put it back. But anyway, so when you're talking about to fill that spot, are you talking about a program that you're about to run, a seminar or a workshop or a webinar, or do you mean just in general to add another client?
Well, it could be, right? Like like a lot of businesses, like you look at a lot of service-based businesses these days, they've got appointments in a calendar for people with services and products. Okay. And then sometimes what happens is people just cancel for some reason. It might be that something else has come up. It might be that, they have to take their dog to the vet, or, maybe a child's sick or something. And you've got to cancel that appointment because you've got to kind of run back to school or do something, right? Things come up in people's lives. Cancellations happen. So then what do you do? How can you find a quick win to be able to fill those spots as well? This is just the challenge that a lot of businesses go through. And we speak about it a lot with a lot of our clients as well, as to, how do you go about, what do you do to fill those spots? But I was just saying, like, this happens so regularly. And, maybe some of the people are probably hearing us too, I reckon, no doubt, Serena, right?
Well, I think, just sort of thinking back to when that happens, to say us, for example, there's a couple of things that need to do. You should already have a list of people that you need to phone as a backup, so that list is, it could be people that it's not urgent to call them straight away, but there is must get back to them within the next few days or the week. So what that happens, then it gives you a chance to say, great, I'm going to jump on, I'm going to call these people now, because one of them could turn into a client, for example. So you might have a few people that you haven't contacted for a while, or were a client a long time ago, but they might need your help now. So if you have that list, that would be the first thing I would do, is start doing some phone calls. And I think you do that anyway, don't you? Do you catch up with those type of calls on those moments?
Yeah, of course. I mean, as a business owner, people cancel things happen, right? But for us, probably, it doesn't affect us as much. But if someone's got like a service business, like beauty therapy type businesses, coaching practices, things cancel, people can't show for appointments for some reason. You got to have some type of way to be able to re-engage, to be able to fill more spots, that type of stuff as well. So
Usually,
you know.
usually with that, you would have a like sometimes when I used to go to my herbalist or naturopath or something, I may want to get
mm,
in there a little bit quicker, and of course they're booked out, so they would have me on the list that if need to be, they can phone me, and I'll be down there in a sec, in a wink of an eye. So you would have a list of clients that are maybe like that are happy to jump forward. So you could bring some of the other ones forward, and that gives you more time then to fill in the other spots when someone's coming in just now. So that's another option.
Mm. So I'd say, yeah, 100%. That would be the first thing. So if you're a business that, works by appointment and you've got people coming in for appointments and things like that per day, I would have a list as number one of people that can move forward or want to have potentially a sooner appointment. So you can call on. So if there was a cancellation for some reason, you can call back on that list and say, hey, spots just rocked up for tomorrow between 10, 11, and 1 and 1:30. So you can bring those appointments forward so your business doesn't have missing spots. What also you can do, and this is why it's important that on social media and the various different platforms that you've got, like Facebook, Instagram, these types of ones, that you have a following and you build a following and a community over time. Last week, we spoke about the importance of communities and having a community as part of your business, as part of your growth strategy. Because if you've got that as part of your growth strategy, your business can then call on that community to be able to fill spots. So, one thing that a lot of our clients do, and we say to them, okay, really focus in this area. If you do have any missing spots or you have a fair few openings that you're looking to fill, use things like stories. Really, really good for it. So, using like Facebook stories, Instagram stories for when you have cancellations and you just pop those cancellations up on stories. These are the spots available tomorrow for this, tomorrow for that appointment, this appointment, and that appointment for this product, etc. It's just a really quick way that you can, as a business, be able to fill those spots that are available. Okay. So, as a business, don't just sit there when you have someone cancel or an appointment available. Even if there was nobody in that spot before, you got to find a way to fill it, because that right there is lost revenue for that slot that nobody is booked in. Okay. So your business has to have not only a way to be able to find new clients, but it also has to have a way to be able to fill spots within your strategy if there is free spots. So having a process that you use, so a list to call on of people that want to move forward but can't because it's booked out. The second one is having built a community of people around you across, followings across Instagram, Facebook, things like that, using stories to be able to promote that you do have available spots that people can slot into as well and take those spots. And sometimes, right, and this is what a lot of bigger businesses will do as well. If you have quiet times every single week and it's always through these times and you don't get anybody through, when things like this happen, you're better to have somebody in there utilizing your service, paying something to the business, as opposed to having it free and having staff there that are getting paid there, and that all it is just an expense, that time frame that nobody's coming through. So you got to have a strategy to fill those spots, those quiet times, people call it, that a business has as well. Because if you can fill those quiet times with some form of revenue, right, it's better than having nothing there at all. Because if there's nothing there, you're paying for marketing and bringing in new clients. You're paying for staff to be there that aren't doing anything, just twiddling their thumbs. that there is lost time and lost revenue and opportunity for a business. So having something to fill the spots throughout the day, some type of, and this is how you produce it in your marketing. You could by chance have discount vouchers, right? By chance, where maybe someone gets 10% off when they come through between, 11 and 1, which is our quietest times, or whatever those time frames are. And, those time frames might only be Monday, Tuesday, for example. How do I go about filling those spots, getting people through the door so I do get revenue within those times, and I'm not just paying out an expense, which, there's an expense for that time frame on rent. There's an expense for that time frame on, marketing that you're spending. There's an expense in staff for that time. You're better to have something in than nothing. And it's these little 1%ers, these little things that you can do that will just add revenue-wise to your business. You could grow by 5-10%, maybe even more per year just by filling these quiet times. So you got to have something there to fill these quiet times, something there to fill these cancelled appointments and everything as well within your marketing strategy. I think I'm going to talk about the fourth thing now, Serena. I've lost how many I've spoken about or how much I've spoken about in this time, but that's okay.
Well, me, I'm just dealing with an emergency right now, so you keep talking.
Okay.
So I'm not listening to what number you're up to.
Yeah, that's all right. The last one, or the last sort of lever that you could pull to be able to fill the spots, to be able to sort of fill those quieter times, and this is where a lot of people don't realize, and they don't do anything here, or they don't structure it correctly as well, would be the angle of using your own database to fill those spots as well. So if you've got a free spot on Tuesday at 4 p.m., fill that from your database. And it's something very simple. Like, you don't need to have any sort of complex types of email marketing or text message campaigns as well. And this is why we also say as a business should grow an email list and a text message list. The text message list will fill faster things than the email list. Email on average is open 20 to 30%. There is never, ever an unopened text message on my phone. So these are the ways or the things that your business has got to be thinking about. How do I fill the quiet times, right? So if it's like Monday, Tuesdays are our quiet days, how do I fill those days? How do I get so many people coming in throughout those days that it perks up the rest of the week? Because a lot of businesses, they do have busy times, right? And certain days, they usually define certain days as busy times. And you've got to have, that sort of stuff fills organically, and with what you're already doing, you can fill that even more naturally. A lot of businesses can. However, sticking to and looking at those quieter times, those free spots that you have got in your calendar, those cancellations that people make, find ways to be able to fill them using the methods that we've spoken about today. And you'll find that you will get month-on-month growth in some way, shape, or form just by putting the focus across those areas. Because let's face it, the things that we focus on expand. So if we think about the negativity of not being able to fill certain spots in our business, or we have cancellations, etc., we'll always continue to have them there, and everything will always stay the same. However, if as a business owner, we can then go, okay, this is where my opportunity is to fill. And if I just had more people across these angles, and I had an angle to fill people between, Mondays and Tuesdays, which are our quiet days, right? If we had a strategy to be able to fill those 2 days, imagine if you had those days busy, right? What that would do to your business long term. My guessing is if you filled those quiet days, you would get a fair bit of extra growth quite quickly out of your business by focusing on those. Am I right or am I right? Let us know in the comments. We would love to hear from you. So these are the things that are important for you to understand, and the things that you do focus on are the things that will expand. And these are the different ways that we spoke about doing it. So I'll do a quick summary of today and what we've spoken about. So you guys can kind of know what you need to do so you can think about things differently. So number one, if you're the type of business that books appointments and, people come in and they're fulfilled a service, right? Then your focus has got to be when you book those appointments, you create a list of people that would be willing to come in a little bit earlier if there was to be a cancellation. Okay. So you got to have like a cancellation list, call it, people that have booked appointments, but they're a cancellation list as well. So if there was a canceled appointment, they'd be willing to come in earlier. So you can call on those people. That's number one. Number two is the importance of you building a community around your business of people that utilize your service or potentially want to utilize your service as well. And you want to utilize that community for when you do have cancellations or when you do have free spots come up that are available, that you will have people there in that community that would want to use that time frame, okay? Or those spots that you do have available. That's number two. Number three, and this is the importance of building, followers, building community strategies and social sharing strategies through your business, is by the utilization of using stories across all of these platforms to fill the spots. I'll give you an example. We have an appointment that just showed up for X service at 2 p.m. and we've got a spot for X service and X service at Wednesday, 1 p.m. If you would like to book these, shoot a message to the page. We'll organize it for you. Okay. So the utilization of like stories to fill those spots, hugely powerful. Every time they're available, all of our clients book those appointments very quickly just by utilization of stories. And this is why I say you got to build also communities around what you do and followers and things. Okay. Where followers don't pay the bills, they definitely fill the spots. And you can do it even if you've only got 50 people following you. That's okay. That's all right. Next step, and the last one, is the utilization of your lists. So as a business owner, you will have an email list, you'll have a text message list. And that's why I say you got to build both of those. Basically, use these two lists to fill those quiet days, those quiet times, and those available spots, right? And you can use all the other things that we've spoken about as well. But this is the major area and the reason, and this is like the backbone or the engine room to a business is those lists. That's what keeps the business growing. That's what makes the business bigger. That's what gets more people to reach out to you and come in and use you and all these types of things is the size of that list. If you've got 100,000 people in that list, you will fill things very easily, right? If you've got 100 in those lists, you'll still fill them, but you won't fill them as quick. So as a business, we got to build those as quickly as possible, get as many people in them as possible so we can fill the quiet times, we can fill the canceled times, and we can also distribute people across our social channels as well, which is also important. And lastly, was all purely about talking around the quiet times for your business and filling those quiet times instead of having those quiet times as an expense. And the expense is the staff member that you've got there at $30 an hour or $35 an hour or $25 an hour or whatever that you're paying to be there to work that period of time. So, but they're working that time where there's nobody in. So that is a must to fulfill and have a strategy, have some revenue coming through in that period of time because something is better than nothing. And just by filling that spot to start with something rather than nothing is better than nothing at all. And already just with that, you could add 5-10% to your revenue, potentially even more if those quiet times were as busy as your busy times, and the utilization of lists the utilization of marketing strategy to fill those spots, until eventually your business will get to a point where you can fill that with higher paying things and higher paying stuff and of whatever you sell or whatever your product is or your business is, right? So I'm just using things and stuff because I don't know what it is that you're doing. And it's important to be able to just fill those to start with. And I'll give you an example of that as well so that you can go away and work out what that is for you. Or you could just join our Facebook group and you can just get weekly trainings like this, of course, as well. So essentially, there is a website on the internet called Groupon, right? So what a lot of businesses do is their quiet times and times where they want more people through, they'll go to that website, they'll place an ad, and they'll get purchases through Groupon for services, products, and fill spots that are available. And in the early stages of business, it's great, right? And if you, the business owner, fulfills that, it's a lot, you get to keep a lot more because you're not paying a commission to a staff member or anything like that. But anyway, so the idea would be is if you can fill all those empty spots with a lot of your websites like this and different services like this, it can help you bring in more revenue for the quiet times while you work on how do I get higher paying things through the front door. Because Groupon, let's face it, doesn't break any records, just pays for staff members to do things. And in the early stages of business, it's really, really good because you can make an additional $700, $800 a week, depending on your service, product, whatever that is. But there's a lot of adjacent, like websites that are adjacent to this that work in several different niche markets too, that you can just use to be able to fulfill and bring in more business for the time being until you can replace it through strategy with other options, okay? Which is a large percentage of what your business has got to have is ways to fill those quiet times. So if you had a quiet time on, say, Monday and Tuesday, you could use a lot of these types of websites to just fill those spots and then work on other strategies and other things that you can do to bring in more higher paying people so you're not paying as bigger commissions to a lot of these other companies, okay? The food industry obviously use Uber and, all these other menu log type websites and whatever. And, if you're not on there a lot of the time, you probably wouldn't have got the business anyway, right? That comes through there. But that's just the way that I look at it. Yes, you pay 20, 30% or whatever it is to a lot of these other businesses. But at the same point in time, these people are just going on there because they just don't want to go out of the house anyway. They want to order something and, they might want to use your business, but because you don't deliver, they don't want to go out of the house. They won't do it anyway. So you got to have some way to fill those quiet times, add some revenue because something is better than nothing in this world. But that's just my thought pattern and the way that I think. If I'm paying staff and I'm not busy, I want to find a way to be able to fill it. So I'm going to leave you guys with that today. Anything, Serena, you want to add about this today or anything that came up that you wanted to talk about as well around it?
You covered pretty much most of it. Yeah. I said at the beginning what I sort of thought as well too. So no, it's pretty full on.
Perfect. So guys, if you guys have any questions at all about anything that we've spoken about today, just let us know in the comments below. Ask your question. We're here to answer those for you. We want the shows to be interactive. Make sure you join our Facebook group too. We will run regular trainings within that Facebook group, which is Business Warriors Social Media Strategies for Service-Based Businesses. Jump into that group. You'll get plenty from it. If you're already in the group, well done. If you're not, you're missing out. And if you got any questions or if you got some value from today, just let us know in the comments. Just type the word value if you got some value. And if you want some other things discussed for future trainings on the show and things like that as well, we also want to give you that information as well so you can go away and implement it. Well, that would be the hope that you go away and implement it anyway. So thank you so much today for jumping on, everybody. Enjoyed today's show, and yeah, look forward to really helping you guys kick some big goals in future episodes. Make sure you're back here on Friday, 1 p.m. Perth time. That's 3 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. That's 5 p.m. New Zealand. We look forward to seeing you on the show. Post in the comments anything further that you've got questions-wise, and we will be in touch with you really, really soon. Peace out, everybody. Thanks for joining the show. Remember this one thing. If you do not fight for your own freedom, nobody else will. So every single day you must get out there. Every single day you must take action. Every single day you must make it happen. Remember to be the warrior. See you all Friday, 1 p.m. Peace.
See you later, guys.